Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. 8 games in the NBA on Wednesday. I'm running through some early strong leans that I have here, and then obviously we'll be finalizing that card at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on the live show, as we do every weekday now moving forward. Also have to look at how we did last night. We get to look at how we did last night. 6-1, made 5 units. We'll go over quickly on the record. Got a little discount for those of you interested in jumping into the VIP. So if that all sounds good, go ahead and give this video a like. Let's get right into it. Oh, we can breathe a sigh of relief. 6-1 plus 5 units, had a 5-day losing streak there. So we are now up 46.4 units on the season. Looking to climb back over 50 and then get back to 60. We're going to keep building here. Looking quickly over these bets. The first one here was Bruce Brown in the Pellies game. 3.5. This dude started playing 26 plus minutes here for the Pellies, even with Zion out there. So that was a nice little easy cash, 3.5. He got the 4th board in the 3rd quarter. So felt good about that. Then we had a couple same game parlays because we were very confident that the Bulls were going to lose to the Cavs, and the Cavs money line was going to be a nice little juicer, right, for these bets that we're making on Sam Merrill, right? We bet on Sam Merrill as a backup that we considered to have maybe 20-21 minutes in him because it was going to be a blowout. Did not get there, but he was hot in this game, so that helped us get to over 10 points. So we took that with the money line for Cleveland, got plus 170. Nice little alt line on the 10 plus points there. And then Jalen Smith was a cash cow. He cashed his rebounds in the 2nd quarter, and the money line for the Cavs was nice because the negative correlation of the Cavs winning, but somebody on the Bulls doing really well. That was really helpful to get us a little bit more juice there, plus 116 on the money line. And then Matas Buzelis, really loved this look here in the Bulls game as well, because we knew Josh Giddey, Lonzo Ball, Kevin Huerter, all of those guys were questionable. Plus you had G League guys that were coming up to play with the Bulls that night. So that is a really nice little, set of crumbs there to lead you to the idea that the Bulls starters aren't playing, the backups are going to get more minutes, and Matas Buzelis was already starting and getting a lot of time here for this Bulls squad as of late. So loved his usage, loved his minutes, and he climbed over for us in the 3rd quarter. And then Scotty Barnes was nearly a halftime cash, and Jacoby Walter as well. Both the Raptors guys did really well for us, and Jacoby Walter is going to slide right into that Grady Dick, the spot that he holds and really the role that he plays. So Jacoby Walter is going to continue to be a guy that we look at with high usage and one of their better wing defenders that's guarding good players on the other team. And then Scotty, we just got a low number on him because he had a bad game before again in the same matchup against the Magic, but 11.5 rebounds and assists is still a smash for Scotty Barnes regardless of who's out there. And then the one loss, Jimmy Butler decided to take the first half off and then surged all the way to 27 PRA for the second half, got like 21 PRA in the second half, but only managed 6 in the first. So we avoid the sweep, but 46.5 units is nothing to sneeze at on the season. Very happy with the way that we're climbing up here. So if you do want to jump in, we're very happy with our Cleveland bets here that helped us get to the 5 units. So the code is the land, 50% off your first 2 months in the VIP. If you're interested in jumping in, that'll take you into the playoffs as well. So you get some of those first round playoff bets as well for 50% off jumping in right now. That helps you out there using code the land. And just to be clear, getting you guys a lot more than just the picks. You've got the analysis. You've also got access to the guest cappers and the VIP chat, which I'm very, very proud of and very grateful for everybody in there that's bringing great looks every day. And then we have the one-on-one sports betting consultation. So if you want to get better at sports betting, can come meet with me, set up a meeting for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and we'll go through some betting strategies, how to get better at this thing, and trim some of those bad habits. So at any rate, let's get right into what we've got here. And then remember, we've got that live show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern where we finalize those bets. You guys bring your bets, jump in the comments, and we go through that stuff together. So hope to see you guys there at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But let's get into Wednesday. As always, going to be using PropsMadness here on the show, the #1 sports betting research tool around. If you do want to sign up for a free trial here, you can get 7 days free using code LYB when you sign up for PropsMadness. Also gets you 25% off your first month by using that promo code. And one quick thing I want to show you that they added recently is opponent defensive rank versus position. So a lot of us like to see, how do defenses do against specific positions? How do the Heat do, say, against guards like Donnie Mitchell? How do they do against forwards or centers like Evan Mobley? And you can select in the advanced filters opponent defensive rank versus position. It'll update for each stat. So right now I'm looking at how each team does against Donnie's position in terms of the points. You can see the Bulls here, who they played last game, are 27th limiting points against point guards. Then if you go to assists, it changes, right? You now get the Bulls. They are pretty much dead last when it comes to assists in terms of opponent defensive rank versus position. They're 27th in terms of limiting assists to Donnie's position. So you're going to get a lot of value out of not even having to leave Props Madness' screen anymore to see how teams do against specific positions. So let's kick things off here with this Cavs and Heat game. And there's a lot of guys missing here for the Heat. And there's going to be some guys probably missing for the Cavs as well. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. But you can see here, if we look at the games with and without, we've got Hero's probably going to play. Wiggins is already out. Jovic is out. Kalel Ware and Jaime Jaquez are out. Even backup guard Drew Smith is out. And now Tyler Hero is questionable. So this is going to be a depleted team, which really scares me from taking too many overs in general for either team. But the only guy I do like right now is Max Strus. Has a really low point total at 8.5, and it's even dropping down into 7.5. And he continues to start and get roughly 25 to 30 minutes per game. If you look at his last bunch of games, he played 25 against the Bulls because they won by 22. And I mean, they were close for most of the game, but it wasn't like they were making sure they played their starters full minutes. Previous game was without Donnie Mitchell, but still above 30 minutes with an OT game against the Blazers. 22 and a loss to the Celtics, but that's not a good matchup for him against spot-up shooters. This is a good matchup here against the Heat versus spot-up shooters. If you scroll down to the play type analysis here on PropsMadness, you can see they give up the 7th most points per game to spot-up shooters, and Max Strus at 40% of his points off spot-up shooting, right? So we know he's going to continue to do most of his work here and damage off of the spot-up, and that's going to be a good look against the Miami Heat, especially when you look at where he shoots from, right? 12% in this corner, 12% of his points in this corner, so about a quarter of his points are coming from corner threes, and we know Eric Spoelstra's defense forces the ball into the corner by blitzing guards up top and sort of forcing the ball out of their hands, right? So that's why guys like Max Strus are very good looking here, but I'll be eyeing other guys that are not necessarily the stars in this game. I think this one's not going to be too close. I think the Cavs have another beatdown in them here at home. Even on the second night of the back-to-back, the Heat are just going to be completely depleted coming into Cleveland. Going to have to roll right past this Wolves game with the Hornets. Not sure yet who's going to be playing for the Wolves. And we got to be careful. Julius Randle's recently come back from injury. Mike Conley might be due for a day of rest. So we've got to see a little bit of what's going on there before we can actually place a bet down. But I'm already getting ready to bet on the Celtics. We just also need a ton of news from them. If you look at who's potentially not playing here, you've got Jason Tatum is going to be a game time decision. Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Kristaps, and Jaylen Brown, right? All going to be game time decisions. And the key thing here is that Kristaps and Drew Holiday are doubtful. So we're not likely going to see them. I think Derek White and Peyton Pritchard are a go, but Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both legitimately questionable. And they have the back-to-back tomorrow against a team that they're going to beat anyway. I forget who they're playing tomorrow, but it's going to be an easy win for them on the back-to-back tomorrow as well. The Hornets, I believe, is who they're playing tomorrow night. But more importantly, like one of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, probably at least one of them isn't playing tonight. Definitely not going to see Drew Holiday and Kristaps, in my opinion. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. But this is a tough matchup. So I'm not sure who's going to play yet. I just know I'm going to be going for Peyton Pritchard. I'm going to be looking for Peyton Pritchard stuff here. I think he's due for 30, 32 minutes in this game. We could see him up to 34. So Peyton Pritchard, we don't have his stuff up yet because of all of these questionable tags for the starters, obviously. But even if we don't get Peyton Pritchard in the starting lineup, which we may if we're missing at least one of Tatum or Brown. But either way, he's going to be playing a lot, right? And so for Pritchard, when you look at these games where they're just like, all right, let's just give it to our 6th man of the year candidate and front runner candidate for 6th man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, it's going to be a lot of usage for him. I'll probably be looking at points, rebounds, and assists for Peyton P, not just the points in this one, because I think he'll be doing a lot more than just scoring, considering that we're not going to be seeing at least 2, if not 4, of the top 5 players here for the Celtics giving it a go against the Blazers. Coming down to this Jazz and Wizards game, quick reminder, go ahead and give that video a like if you're getting anything out of it. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel here as we move forward, helping out with these sports bets. Let's get into this Jazz-Wiz game. Not exactly a affair between 2 world beaters here, let's say, but I will give Flip a little bit of love because we got a center going up against the Wizards, and we know Flip is going to be getting a lot of time tonight because Markkanen, Collins, Sexton, Clarkson, Kessler, most importantly Kessler, are all out tonight already for the Jazz. Officially tanking. They're on their tanking bullshit, as we know. So just make sure you guys are being aware of that down the stretch here all the way through the end of the regular season, that you're not going to be seeing nearly as many starters and a lot more blowouts. It's got to be taken into consideration. So we'll be a little bit cautious, but Flip is someone, even with these numbers as high as they are, 9.5 boards, 3.5 dimes, 15.5 points, although 14.5 is available in some places. I think we just put it all together, and you can still get 27.5 on DraftKings. I would take this up to 28.5 on the PRA for Flip. The key here is what happens when he plays without Walker Kessler is that he gets minutes. And so if we put him at 30 minutes, which I think is his floor tonight because he's the only center on this team, you're looking at about 28 PRA per game, and you're getting a huge bump. If we go back to that, what I was telling you at the top of the video, Opponent defensive rank versus position. Well, these teams are all very good. If you look at the Blazers, they're 13th limiting PRA to centers. You look at the Clippers, they're second best limiting centers. The Magic are good as well. Obviously, the Mavs and the Pellies have struggled down low, but that's what the Wizards do. They are 29th limiting PRA to centers. They're basically the worst defense against centers in the league, other than probably the Pellies, who are down to 22nd. But either way, as far as all of it goes, points, rebounds, and assists, we're going to see him at least 30 minutes. I think you give him 34. And in those situations against teams that he's better than, especially without guys that are going to be taking shots from him, right? Like Keontae George, probably not going to start still. So you're going to see Flip with Sensabaugh, Collier, Kenyon Martin, and Johnny Juzang. I mean, Flip is the second best player on there, right? Right after Isaiah Collier, in my opinion. So he's going to be heavily involved. I think the usage is going to remain high. You can see he's taking good shots when he's playing 30-plus minutes, around 11 to 10. So I think he's good for about 30 PRA in this game, and the easiest matches possible against this Washington Wizards defense. Still waiting on a bunch of news, including pretty much the Nuggets squad there, including Jokic, who is questionable. Not sure what to do with them, but let's go to the Thunder and Grizzlies game, which if Ja Morant plays is going to be a great game, but Ja Morant is questionable right now. So we have to keep that in mind here. Ja's questionable. We know Triple J's already out. Santi is questionable, and so is Scottie Pippen Jr. So we're going to have to wait for all those guys, but if Ja Morant plays, and I think you just hit this now, if you can still get 23.5 points for Ja Morant, which is available, I'm hitting the under on that. I mean, we're talking about primary ball handlers going up against the Thunder. You take the under. You just cover your eyes and hit under because there's no reason to worry about it. If you look at the guys who have gone up against them, you got to do by position here for Ja against the Thunder. These aren't even really the same style of players, but you look at primary ball handlers, Jalen Green, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young. Let's get down to some more primary ball handlers. Anthony Edwards. All these unders are the primaries. All these overs, other than this Ant game, are guys playing off ball who are looking to receive that catch and shoot because that's the best way to score against the Thunder. If you look at them, they are third worst versus free throws. They're fourth worst here versus spot up shooters. That's where they give up the fourth most points. But in transition, as the pick and roll ball handler, if you try to go one-on-one in ISO, if you're not getting anything against this team. Above the break, they have the second best defense. The only place to really score is in the corners off spot up shooting, and that's the exact opposite of what Ja's going to be doing. If you wanted to take something for Ja, I would take the assists, but those are even high. So I'm going under on the points at 23.5. I'm probably going to double down and go under 34. If you can still get 35, great, but under 34.5 PRA for Ja as well. I mean, on the season, he's averaging 32, and now he's going up against what I'm considering the best defense in the league. Going to go under once again with no fear. Ja can't shoot against at all, and if you can't pull up and shoot against this team, you're not getting all the way to the rim with the way that they keep you out of the paint. So you see the way he played last game, 36 minutes, 16 points because he went 6 for 19 from the field. That's exactly what I expect once again. If Ja is out, then we're looking at Desmond Bane being the primary ball handler. If Desmond Bane is the primary ball handler, I'm leaning under on the points. If we get this at like 25.5 points for Desmond Bane because Ja is out and his numbers bump up, then we're going under on the points for Desmond Bane. But I would start to look at some rebound assist overs for him in this game. I do think he'll be able to at least find some shooters. Santi Aldama being out there would be huge because he is a Thunder killer. So if Santi is out there, he's going to be a guy that we target, and Desmond Bane will be assisting to guys like Santi Aldama. But if Santi can't go, I mean, they don't have Triple J already. If Ja can't go, this should be a blowout. So be careful. But if we get Desmond and Santi together, I like rebounds and assists on the over here for Desmond Bane and probably an over on the PR for Santi. But that's something that we'll tackle here on the live show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern once we have plenty more news to work with. All right, hope to see you guys 5:30 p.m. Eastern today on the live show. Bring your bets, jump in the comments, and we'll go over what you want to look at together. And if you do want to make sure you get your bet looked at and you want to support the live show, memberships are open. $5 a month. Get yourself to the front of the line. Make sure that you get your bet reviewed on the show, and you got all the icons and badges to help you stand out in the chat and kind of show your sort of affinity for us and affiliation with the Land Your Bets Network. So appreciate you all showing up. See you in a little bit, and until then, happy betting.